If you're looking for a different sort of fun and a smaller package than a traditional buggy or a truggy or things along those lines, Losi's got you covered in the new 1/24 scale micro rally car. We're here today with this guy. This is Todd Hodge, the man behind the car. Thanks for stopping by, or actually, thanks for letting me stop by today.
Oh, no problem.
This is, out here at the Losi studios here, and had a chance to take a look at these and couldn't wait to tell you all about them. So why don't you give us a brief overview on what this is in front of us right now?
Well, today we're going to be showing you our new micro 1/24 rally car. It is four-wheel drive, as you heard, four-wheel drive. Pretty exciting coming from a micro. It is a shaft-driven, fully ball-bearing micro four-wheel drive car.
Now it looks like we've got 4 different paint schemes here. Are these pretty much the 4 different paint schemes that you'll come out of the box with?
Yeah, we have the dark gray and white, the orange and white, which is the #1 and #2 body.
Okay.
And then we kind of did like a European style, kind of crazy graphics, #3 and #4 body with the red and the blue.
And I don't know why, but there's some old school Losi paint scheme that #3 reminds me of. It's got kind of a nostalgic feel for me. But now let's take a look at the chassis itself a little bit closer. It looks, very compact design, very clean, but front and rear, these are some of the largest diameter micro shocks that I've seen. You got something that you want to tell me about those?
Yeah, we with the vehicle it comes with oil-filled shocks that have threaded shock bodies, so you can actually tune your shocks, change the viscosity. They actually have bladders inside, little rubber bladders. They're super trick. Top fill design, so yeah, just pull the shock off, take the cap off, pull the bladder off, change the shock oil.
How easy is it to rebuild the shocks or bleed them, or is there much of a difference even from going out and changing on a shock this small, changing the weight of the shock oil that's in the car?
Yeah, if you go up 20 weight or so, you're definitely going to feel a difference, up or down 20 weight. We tried to optimize the setup for the vehicle to pretty much handle anything.
Now, I noticed too, we've got, along with the 4 different colors on the bodies, we've got 2 different wheel colors here too.
Yeah, with the #1 and #2, we did a black wheel to kind of go with that design. And for the #3 and 4, we did the traditional bronze/gold color wheel.
Something that looks like you'd really find on a rally car over in Europe there.
Yes.
Let's talk about the electronics a little bit. Looks like we've got an all-in-one receiver and speed controller unit on here, along with a 5-wire servo.
Yes, it's a all-in-one micro speed control and receiver, 27 megahertz. Channels 1 through 6 are available. It can run from 4.8 volts, which is the stock battery, up to a 7.4 LiPo battery.
Now, one thing too, you mentioned LiPo. The stock motor, how well does it handle LiPo batteries? I know one of the things that people have commented on is my car truck is really fast when I first go to a LiPo, but then it starts slowing down after a dozen or so batteries through it.
With all of our testing with the LiPo battery, with the 2S LiPo, it's been awesome.
Okay. Now it is a shaft drive setup on here, front and rear, and you mentioned full ball bearings too. What about even out at the front rear hub carriers too? Are those bushings?
The hub carriers have bearings in them.
So it's a complete full ball bearing car. No need to buy an upgrade kit later on down the road or anything like that. What is someone looking at for top speed and overall performance in something like this?
Probably top speed with the stock battery, I'm going to say it's probably around 15 miles an hour.
Out of a car this size is actually really good.
Yeah. Once you step up to a LiPo, you're probably looking at about 20 miles an hour. Believe it or not, in the office here with a 10,000 kV motor, we actually got it up to 28 miles an hour in the office.
You guys have too much fun here, you know that?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome.
What about, it looks like the way that these are set up, they can actually handle some smaller jumps and things like that. Like the mini T-ramps look like they'd be a perfect add-on for someone who's looking to have some fun in a den or a living room or in a basement or even in their front driveway.
Yeah, we've been pretty much torture testing these, jumping them up a couple feet. No braking problems. Durability is definitely has been thought about here, and with the double wishbone A-arm suspension.
Those are real beefy looking too.
Yeah, definitely a durable vehicle with jumping.
Now, it doesn't look like this shares a whole lot, if any, kind of parts crossover with some of the other 36 scale micro vehicles that are out there. Is that pretty safe to say?
Yeah, that's pretty safe to say. Really, you're looking at maybe the wheel nuts and the body clips.
That's not a whole lot, my friend. So then, next question there is, specific hop-ups designed for this car here?
Yeah, we have a bunch in mind. Probably aluminum hubs, spindles, spindle carriers, a few other items, obviously different spring rates, stuff like that, so people can tune.
What about clear bodies? Are those in the future too?
Yes, we have a clear body. We'll offer a clear rally body for this, and then for the short course version, they'll have a clear body as well.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned the short course version of this chassis too. So there's a good amount of crossover parts-wise from this chassis to that one?
Yeah, pretty much. The entire vehicle is shared between the two. The main difference is on the rally car is the rear body mount.
Yeah, it's considerably higher.
The rear bumper and then the front bumper.
So really, well, let me ask you this. Will there be a conversion kit offered for those who would either want to take their 24 scale short course truck and convert it to a rally car or go the other way?
You know, for right now, we haven't really thought about a conversion kit. Pretty much you buy a few replacement parts and you can convert it yourself, no problem.
Okay. Talking about conversion, what about brushless conversions? Will this work with the Acceleron micro brushless systems that are out there?
Yeah, if you get the 3-wire servo setup, put your own Spectrum receiver in there, it works no problem. We're also working on a DSM brushless speed control that bolts right inside the chassis.
Oh, that'd be really cool. And it doesn't look like, too, I mean, it looks like everything's really easy to get to on here. It looks like you've just got a couple of screws here that keep the main chassis cover down to access things like the motor and the electronics underneath.
Yeah, and then also inside there you can access the slipper, which obviously when you go to brushless you need to make sure that the slipper is doing its job or you're potentially going to have some gear problems. So you definitely want the slipper to, you know, slip for a foot or so when under full punch-offs.
Speaking of the slipper and the gears themselves, what are the gearing options that this car comes with?
Out of the box, it's a 58-tooth spur gear with a 12-tooth pinion. And then also included is a 10 and a 14-tooth pinion. Okay. And then an optional, not optional, it's also included a 54-tooth spur gear.
So if you wanted to go from, you know, something that has got a ton of acceleration to a ton of top speed, it's right there already in the box for you to really kind of get a broad range of performance.
Absolutely.
So what are we looking at for a street price on these?
Street price is going to be right around $110.
And I mean, obviously designed more for like the indoor type environment then as well, or how do these work outdoor on like asphalt and concrete?
Asphalt and concrete, they work great. Obviously indoor, awesome. We really don't advise that you run them in any dirt or sand. You know, granted, everything looks like it's sealed here, but there is an opening around the servo that if you do get some sand in there, it will ultimately affect the gear mesh and might cause a failure.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's Todd Hodge here, and we're here with the new Losi 124 scale 4-wheel drive rally car. These things are absolutely dialed.